The 10 most annoying
things about recipe books. Every house has got several recipe books. We've got about 20 or 30. They are the Christmas present, fifth on the list, present of choice if you can't think of anything else to buy me or my wife. Yes, we've got them all, and they're all rubbish. The 10 most annoying things about recipe books.
10.
At number 10, we've got a recipe book with a Mexican sausage dish in it called merengo, which calls for 2 litres of fresh pig's blood. I asked.
No.
Yes, Siripol. And I quote from the book: "If you do not intend to kill your own pig, order it through your butcher." I mean...
9.
At number 9, dishes calling for a helper. A helper, right? An assistant. A caddy, if you will. I don't know, because it's kind of complicated and you need 2 pairs of hands. That is very, very annoying.
8.
I quote, "Tender grapevine leaves, freshly picked." Come on.
For goodness
I'll
sake.
say it again, it's in the book. Tender grapevine leaves, freshly picked. At number
7.
I quote again. This is meringues, all right? I quote, "This recipe should not be used on a humid or a rainy day."
Oh, really?
Yeah. That number.
6.
"Work quickly before it hardens." Have you ever... But what?
Nothing.
Oh, I see where your minds went then.
Tommy.
But I did, didn't it? Oh, how very Benny Hill of you. That never occurred to me when I found this. It's a recipe for, I don't know what it's for, but it says work quickly before it hardens. Oh, look at you two girls.
5.
Number 5, the word just. I found, cook the scallops until they just begin to turn opaque. It's so imprecise, isn't it?
Yeah.
You're dealing with raw shellfish here. Surely the thing to do is to cook them until they're black. At least that way you won't die. You think to yourself. But the word just is so imprecise. At number
4.
cutting vegetables into matchsticks.
Oh.
Is life not too short, you know, to stuff a mushroom or an olive?
Right, yeah.
Speaking of which, there is a recipe for stuffing olives.
Oh, my goodness, why?
But cutting vegetables into matchsticks at number...
3.
Anything involving a pestle and mortar, as far as I'm concerned.
Oh, yeah.
Who wants to stand around with a pestle and mortar?
And that noise it makes, like
the
a
noise
chalkboard.
it makes.
Oh.
Or a sieve. That has me flipping the page. If it says force it through a sieve. At number
2.
sheet gelatine.
Oh. That's always intrigued me, though.
Yeah, but you wouldn't
do with it?
Well, you know what it is, don't you?
Just...
It's residue of pig's feet.
Oh, that's disgusting.
That's what gelatine is.
Yeah,
you do know that, don't you?
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You know that stuff, that lovely jelly you used to get when you were a kid? Yeah, OK, it was flavoured with raspberry, but back then, jelly was boiled pig's feet.
Oh.
And the number 1 most annoying...
Thing about recipe books is the equipment they expect you to have in the house. Guess what I found in this recipe book? This is all a lot easier if you own a couscouserie. How about that?
Where you keep couscous?
No, it's some sort of special machine for cooking couscous, a couscouserie. Couscouserie.
That's the most ridiculous word in the world.
Yeah, it's like people have crepe pans, which are special pans that they only use for cooking crepes. And they season them twice a year. But I'm just going to quote you very quickly from a recipe which I think is definitely the most fussy, ridiculous thing when the world is starving. This is a recipe from a chef called Thomas Keller. And this is his recipe for cornets filled with salmon tartare and creme fraiche. He says, to make your own cornets, OK, you must start with a 4-inch hollow circular stencil, then balance a baking sheet on the open door of a hot oven and set the tips of the cornet moulds on par-baked circles of batter at the 7 o'clock position before rolling. Crazy, aren't they?
Great, that's ridiculous.
It pads the book out.